Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom to the 12 tribes of Yasharala, giving the chorus, all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Mahashiach, Yahawashi, that's all praises and glorification unto the Most High God, Yahawah. In the name of some begotten Yahawashi, it's brother Yasharala, right? Coming back to you yet another video through the spirit and power of Yahawah, Bahasham, Mahashiach, Yahawashi. Alright, I'm going to get straight into this Shabbat Shalom as well, right? I'm going to get straight into this. This is exhortation in the book of Hebrews. All right, so within the book of Hebrews, you know, it's really a masterpiece through the spirit and power of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. It touches on a lot of things, focuses on faith, focuses on, you know, the law, focuses on Yahawashi, you know, various topics within the book of Hebrews, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, let's go to the book of Hebrews chapter 12, right? Also has a lot of exhortation. Hebrews chapter 12, literally exhortation in almost every verse, right? But I'm going to start at verse 12. Right, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 12, it says, Wherefore, lift up the hands which hang down and the feeble knees. So in these last days, we have to be lifting up the hands which hang down. What are the hands that hang down? You know, when your hands are hanging down, that's just phraseology to indicate that, look, you're having your head down. You know what I'm saying? You're not 100%. You're down in the spirit. Well, lift up your hands. You know what I'm saying? Lift up your hands towards Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Lift up your hands toward the towards the Holy Land, toward Jerusalem, toward Israel, man. You know what I'm saying? Lift up your hands toward Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. The Lord said, lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. That's Luke chapter 21. You know? Hey, Paul said, let's go to the book of 1 Timothy, right? 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 8. I will therefore that men pray everywhere, lifting up holy hands without wrath and doubting. So lift up your hands that hang down. You know what I'm saying? Lift up your heads, you know, because our redemption is near. We're almost out of here, right? And the feeble knees, right? The feeble knees. And guess what? Basically, you know, we can't be afraid because the Lord didn't give us the spirit of fear. You know what I'm saying? This is essentially what that's going into. You know, us being afraid, us not having a spirit, us not waxing confident in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. We can't be like that. And that's why we also need brothers too, to lift each other up. You know what I'm saying? Because if one fall alone, who's going to help him up? That's the book of Ecclesiastes. All right, let's go to the book of Job, chapter 4, and verse 3. Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. The words have upholden him. Thy words have upholden him that was fallen, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. So brothers, if they get together, they can easily help each other up, because we're all in this race. We're on this walk, and sometimes you might stumble, sometimes you might fall, and you need other brothers to also help you up. Even though you have to trust in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, because we're not always going to have our brothers, we're not always going to have our Bible, but we have to rely on Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Guess what? We also need brothers in the flesh as well to lift us up. You know, strengthening our needs, because we can't always strengthen ourselves by ourselves. We need Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi first and foremost, Yahawashi, as well as our nation, our people, man, to lift each other up. You know what I'm saying? To help each other, right? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4 and verse 9. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor, right? So two are better than one. Two brothers is better than one brother, right? Two men in the camp is better than just one man in the camp, right? Two men in the congregation, that's better than just one man, right? Verse 10, for if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone. So if they fall, because we're going to fall in this truth. That's a spiritual application to this precept. We're going to fall in this truth. We're going to fall in this race. You have people that actually run races in real life, and they fall and they stumble. But you also see that the other teammates or people from even other teams helping them get back up and helping them finish the race, right? The one will lift up his fellow, but woe unto him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. So sometimes we need help from our people, right? Help from Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, of course, but help from other brothers and sisters to help us get back up when we're weak. You know what I'm saying? When our hands hang low, when our knees are weakened. You know what I'm saying? And we fall. Sometimes we need to rely on each other. right? Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 13. That's why the author of Hebrews is saying, hey, lift up your hands, man. Strengthen your knees. You know what I'm saying? That's, hey, and the Lord also said in the book of Job, you know, the Lord said, hey, gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me. You know, hey, 1 Corinthians chapter 16 and verse 13, you know, it says, watch, stand fast in the faith, be strong, or quit yourselves like men, meaning act like men, you know, be strong in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, right? Quit yourselves like men, be strong. A lot of times that's what you see, even in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 4, right? The Lord said, or basically the Philistines were exhorting each other, saying, hey, quit yourselves like men, be strong, man. We got to fight against these gods. They called us gods, you know what I'm saying? The Philistines, when we were fighting against them in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 4, you can read that on your own, right? As a matter of fact, I'm just get that, right? I'm going to get that real quick. It's the book of 1 Samuel chapter 4, right? This is 1 Samuel chapter 4 and verse 8. Woe unto us. This is the Philistines talking, right? He's saying, woe unto us, who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods? So he called the Philistines referred to us as the mighty gods. That's what we are on the earth, man. We're not just men. We're not just Negroes. We're not just Spics. Not just Mexicans, Hispanics, right? We're not just those types. We're not just Native Americans. We're mighty gods on the earth, right? These are the gods that smote the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness. Verse 9, be strong and quit yourselves like men, O ye Philistines, that ye be not servants unto the Hebrews, as they have been to you. Quit yourselves like men and fight, right? So even though this is the Philistines talking to the other Philistines, hey, literally, that's what we say to each other as well, right? Be strong, quit yourselves like men. Quit yourselves like men means act like men, be men. Gird up your loins, you know what I'm saying? Lift up your hands, you know? Strengthen your strengthen your knees, right? Don't be afraid. Wax confident in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, you know? So, right? Let's go back to this Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 12. Wherefore, lift up the hands which hang down and the feeble knees, right? Feeble means weak. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be weak anything, right? We don't want to be weak-minded in this truth. We don't want to be weak in our flesh as well. Although the flesh is weak, we just want to strengthen it as much as possible, man. We want to wax confident in the spirit. We want to strengthen our spirit in these last days. Verse 13, and make straight path for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed, right? So we have to make straight paths for our feet, man. Straight path to the kingdom of heaven, man, right? We have to understand where we're walking at. And also pray to the Lord that he directs you in the path of righteousness, right? That's heavy. That's heavy as well. Let's go to the book of Proverbs chapter 4, right? Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. So we're commanded to not go into the path of the wicked. You know what I'm saying? We can't go into the broad way, even though you might be enticed to go ahead and go into the broad way. The broad way is symbolic for what? The way in which this whole world, the majority of this world rather, goes on and is walking on. The broad way, where there's no affliction, there's no pain, there's no sorrow. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to keep the commandments. They're not keeping the commandments. They're turning up. They're partying. They're focused on folly and madness. They're focused on the pleasure of this life. You know what I'm saying? That's the broad way. But that, of course, we all know leads to what? Death and destruction. And the straight and narrow way, which few men be that find that place. Hey, we're suffering. You know what I'm saying? Suffering. You know, we have to go through pain. We have to go through sacrifices. We have to say no to a lot of stuff, right? But that's that straight and narrow way. And we can't go into the path of the wicked. You know, let's go to the book of Psalms real quick and get this precept. Get this precept in the book of Psalms, right? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 84 and verse 10. For a day in thy courts is better than 1,000. I had rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God than to dwell in the tents of wickedness. So we have to despise the tents of the wickedness. Because in the tents of wickedness, there might be a lot of food there. You have a lot of pleasure there. You know what I'm saying? In the tent of wickedness. The tents of wickedness is symbolic for what the house of wickedness. You know, and within the house of wickedness, it are people that's on that broad that broad path. You know, that it's not bumpy at all. It's this road that they're on is not bumpy at all, right? And those bumps are symbolic for what? Trials, tribulations, you know, hunger, starvation. Hey, we fast in this truth. That's literally us making ourselves hungry, but nobody fasts in this society. If you fast, you're kind of looked at as, you know, a little weird. Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? People, they eat every hour. They eat every 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? They indulge themselves in just surfeiting wickedness, drunkenness. You know? They indulge themselves in sin and iniquity. Right? Those are the people that dwell in the tents of wickedness. Sodomites. Right? All manner of sinners. Murderers. You know? Fornicators. All these other, these evil men and women. And we used to be those evil men and women. But guess what? Like King David, right? Or Salaki, like this psalmist, he said, I had rather be a doorkeeper in the house of my God. Meaning, what? A doorkeeper is nothing. All you do is just open doors. You just keep the door. You know what I'm saying? You're just standing outside of the door. That's all you're doing. You're not very significant. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? We would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of the Most High in this truth. Rather be this lowest man in this truth, right? Than to be somebody in the world, you know? So, let's go back to this, though. All right, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 13. And make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. So we have to be healing ourselves too, praying for that healing, that spiritual healing of the Most High God. And what better way to heal us than to go to the book, than to go to the Word, right? Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter, I believe this is, right? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 12. It says, for it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health, but thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things. So the word of the Most High heals all things. So that's how we can get healed in this truth. Of course, to the spirit of power, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and our praying onto him. But also, what? The words of the Most High. That's what heals us, right? It says, but thy word, O Lord, which healeth all things. You know what I'm saying? So if you have infirmities, guess what? The words of the Most High, that's what's really going to heal us. You know? Right? Did not the Lord say that he, right? He also created medicines out of the earth. You know? But really, on a spiritual application, the word heals all things. All right? Even though you do have certain medicines that the Lord did create, you also do have that. But you also have the word first and foremost. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 14. It says, follow peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. So we have to follow peace with all men, right? We want to be peaceable, right? Like it says in the book of, I forgot what book this was, but the Lord said, if possible, be peaceable with all men. Right? Live peaceable with all men. I believe that's Romans. Right? If I'm not mistaken. Let's get this precept real quick. This is the book of Romans chapter 12. Right? Right? All praises. This is Romans chapter 12 and verse 18. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. So if it's possible, because we know that you can't live peaceably with everybody, right? But We want to live peaceably with all men, especially those of our own nation, right? Within this truth and without the truth, you know? But of course, we're going to have enemies. The Lord already said that, right? The Lord said that in the book, in numerous accounts, right? One account would be Mark 13:13, that we're going to be hated of all men for Yahawah's sake. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So we're going to have enemies in this truth, no doubt. But if it be possible, as much as we can, we should live peaceably with all men, right? Let's go back to this in the book of Hebrews, right? Hebrews, right? Actually, let's get this in the book of 2 Timothy as well, right? This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2. You know, you don't want to every person you meet, you know what I'm saying, they don't get the truth. You want to start fighting them. You know, no, we have to also be as servants of the Lord. Have wisdom. The Lord said, be harmless as doves, right? The Lord said, be harmless as doves. You don't want to get into every correlation. You starting correlations. You being a violent person. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be violent in this truth. We should act spiritually, not carnally. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Right? And sheep are docile. You know what I'm saying? Just as much as we're lions in this truth, we're also sheep as well. You know, we're sheep. And sheep don't fight. You know what I'm saying? They don't pick up swords and start fighting people. They don't, they don't attack people. Sheep are, really calm and docile creatures. And the Lord said, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. You know? So, hey, harmless goes into what? Also being peaceable, if it be possible, right? Because you also, sometimes you're not going to be able to be peaceable with all men. Sometimes you're going to get into it with certain people, right? On the flip side, let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 24. And the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient, and meekness instructing those that oppose themselves, if God peradventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth. So imagine, you're a brother, you're teaching the words of the Most High, and a brother doesn't get it, and you keep bashing it into his head, right? You keep bashing it into his head, you know what I'm saying? He's still not getting it, getting frustrated, and you slap him, Say that you're Israelite. Say that you're Israelite. Call upon the name of the Lord. Start beating him up right there. Hey, that's not how we should operate in this truth. Not saying anybody's doing that. But the Lord said that we must not strive, be gentle unto all men. Right? Apt to teach, meaning you know what you're talking about. Patient. We got to be patient in this truth as well. Right? In meekness. Because Yahawashi, guess what? Yahawashi was like a sheep. We're the servants of the Most High God. We're the servants of Yahawashi. We're followers of Yahawashi. Yahawashi wasn't going around, right? Although he did in certain instances, right? Yahawashi was austere. Yahawashi did whip the people within the temple. But he wasn't going around and beating up every Pharisee and every man that opposed himself, right? That opposed him. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't doing that. He was gentle. He was patient. He was meek, right? He was instructing those that opposed themselves, right? That's how Yahawashi operated, all right? And we know that when he's coming back, in the opposite way. He's coming back like a lion. But Yahawashi first came as a sheep, you know what I'm saying? As a lamb, So we as followers of Yahawashi must also operate like Yahawashi and walk as he walked. That's 1 John 2 and 6. He that saith he abideth in him, ought himself also to walk even as he walked. All right, let's go to Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 14. Follow peace with all men in holiness. Holiness what? Keeping the commandments. Keeping the commandments, right? Studying, praying, reading, fasting, being holy, right? If we're not holy, if we're not set apart, right? Guess what? It says without which no man shall see the Lord. Meaning without, if you don't have that, if you're not following peace with all men, if you don't have holiness, if you're not just, if you're not trying to be on fire for the Lord, you're not going to see the Lord, right? That's what he's saying. Without which no man shall see the Lord, right? You're not going to see the Lord. Verse 15, looking diligently. It says looking diligently. We have to be diligent in this truth, right? That's another thing. Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled, right? So we have to look diligently, right? Because guess what? Let's go to the book of 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. It's the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So, hey, Satan's out here. Satan's out here 24/7. And we have to be vigilant, right? And diligent to ensure that he's not creeping up upon us. You know what I'm saying? We have to watch out for Satan. Because it says, looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of the Most High, meaning you fall from the grace of the Most High, meaning you fall out this truth, right? Lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Hey, this root of bitterness is twofold, threefold. It's a lot of fold. You know, brethren creeping up into your congregation unaware. If you're not being vigilant and diligent, you're not looking diligently, that's going to fly over your head. You know, if we're not being diligent, if we're not being diligent, hey, you could have 4 or 5 demons on you, you don't even know. You know, that's the root of bitterness that's springing up and it's troubling you. So we at all times have to be watching. We have to be diligent. You know what I'm saying? We have to be watching out for Satan 24/7, man. And I'm speaking to myself as well, right? I'm speaking to myself as well. Let's go to the book of 1 Peter or 2 Peter chapter 3.